brand new one coming out. So, continuation school. Before you leave, I have the draft of it if you want to look at it.
Well, Kimmy connected us by email, so I will reply to your email to get that draft.
Okay.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
Yeah, she's grabbing it right now.
Take all this, so yeah. These are mine. You want this for myself.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Tommy, would you hit the sound for me? We're going to get started. Thank you, sir. Just a quick early welcome to our A4G roundtable. We're talking about what it takes for young people to get into the driver's seat around going to college. So come on over, if you stand, grab a seat, be with us, and yeah, come on over. Yes, students though are going to go second to you to sit first. All right, Dr. Nancy, you need a minute or are we ready to go? Yeah. All right, and everyone who's just on the periphery, we want to invite you to come on over, take a seat, join with us. We get a 30 seconds to get it started. Thank you so much.
I'm good.
Sorry if I get in the way.
I host for the most. Good afternoon, everyone. Ooh, okay. Can we give a big round of applause for our guests joining us? Come scoot on down for us, jump in. So, thank you. We got about 60 over here, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join us. great.
There's some seats here. Thanks for having me.
Let's really get this party started. We are ready to do that. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
We're going to do it one more time. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for that love. My name is Kimmy King. I'm a Bolton mom. I've been an educator for 23 years. And we are here because we have so much love for all of you. And we want to make sure you are in the driver's seat as you think about all your future possibilities and opportunities. You are the game changers today. You cool with that?
Yeah.
All right. We are going to get started with one of my favorite people out here in District 7. Her name is Trina Reed. She's our current city council member, so she is elected to represent our interests out here in District 7. And she really cares about young people and education. So she is going to give just a little warm welcome to everyone. Can you give a big round of applause for Trina?
But you know what this moment is about? It's about turning up the heat. It's about turning up the heat on our A through G eligibility and dropping the D. It's about making sure that we deliver for you, with, as Kimmy King said, with you in the driver's seat. This is a time of change. We're feeling that in this moment of Oakland's leadership. I serve as our Oakland City Council member, and yet I'm also running for mayor of Oakland. And I believe that we're looking for change in our city leadership, that you're going to drive the change that we need in our education system. You're going to lead us to a season of leadership, accountability, equity, and action that we have long needed to make sure that for those of us in the school system, that you actually have the best options, the best opportunity, the most access to have all of your dreams met. Each of you have potential that's just bursting inside of you in every step that you take. Each day you show up. And I call it the power of showing up. You have been showing up in the midst of some very difficult and challenging times. Those that we face in the city, those that you face personally. And I want to reiterate what Kimmy King shared and just thank her for being an amazing champion for you. I want to thank these panelists who are all here for you. I want to thank Dr. Cole, who I know is going to be leading out today, moderating. And I also want to acknowledge James Harris, our former school board member, and Rich Harrison, the CEO of Lighthouse. You have amazing partners here that are standing strong with you. And I know what it means and feels to have a village of support standing strong. I grew up the oldest born granddaughter of 130 cousins of just my father's siblings. My father has 10, there are 10 of them, there are 130 of us that came from those 10 siblings. And as the oldest granddaughter, I always felt a weight of responsibility in how I showed up. And how I showed up supporting others, and how I showed up making sure that our village was tight and right, and everybody stayed on track, so I didn't have to go pick a switch. And y'all probably don't know about picking switches. But some of us know about getting in line and staying in line. And I also grew up with an amazing triumphant mother, a single mom who worked multiple jobs to keep a roof over her head. And she was a public school teacher. That was one of her jobs. How she managed being an educator and working the other jobs that she did to provide for us is absolutely amazing. But it brought resilience in me that has never left me. And I continue to build on that resilience. And I think about some of those more resilient times in my life, and my mother telling us when she was going through one crisis after the next, that no matter what you do, you have to do better than me. And I have to ensure that there are options and opportunities for you. And that option has to be you considering college. And I've got my degrees, I've worked, and got the degrees, so I'm taking care of you. But I expect for you and your brother to go to school and do better than me. And here we are as leaders. We want you to do better than us. We want you to have more options and opportunities to pursue your wildest and greatest dreams, to accomplish everything that your life was meant to be. I raised my daughter Jasmine here, and she went to Montero Middle School and she went on to high school. And I had that baby girl when I was in college. And so I got to college, and life happened with some choices that I made. I came out of a very abusive relationship and walked out having my daughter at that time. And we grew up having a number of different things that were just hardships. welfare, quick, working multiple jobs. Her dad was incarcerated most of her life. And that baby girl came through the school system here and got a full ride to Harvard. And so when I tell you, I fight for babies. I fight for my life. I fight for your life. I fight for my family. And I see our family even in your eyes. I see the resilience. I see that contagious hope in you. I see that inspiration that you want to feel from those who are leading and helping to make decisions concerning their lives and making sure that there's an equitable path for us to show up for you. And so the A through G eligibility, it only makes sense. I don't know why we haven't been teaching and training and building up a pipeline of parents and youth to know how to advocate for themselves. We talk about it, giving our youth the right to vote. I talk about it, making sure that I empower youth on the commissions that serve us in District 7. And it makes no sense that we have not armed you with all the right tools and resources and your parents to be supported with that village of support that got me to where I'm standing today. Making sure that you know how to get through the education system that's before you. But what I would say is shake it up. It's time to shake up the system. This system has to work for you. And you've got to get that driver's seat and lead and drive and learn all the tools that you can to make sure that when you come to the completion of this season of your life, that you've got options, that you've got opportunities. Harvard was just one choice for Jasmine. And it wasn't the choice that I ever imagined for her. I was not that type of mom hoping that one day she'd go to Harvard. But what I wanted for my daughter is what I want for you. Is for you to be in a position to have every choice that you want. That you don't just have one school option or one career path that you're pursuing, but that the options and the doors can be open fully for you to break through. And for you not just break through for yourself, but for you to bust that door open for the generation behind you. For you to kick that door open for other kids in your family, other kids in your neighborhood, and for me to do that same measure of support for parents and families. I am here for the mamas and the daddies. I am here for the guardians. Even so, we have a non-citizen voting measure that I want to make sure on this November 8th ballot that we give legal guardians, parents, caregivers who are not citizens also the equal right to weigh in and be empowered with those that they elect to serve you on the school board. And so that decision is coming before you. So when I say I care about what families have and the voice that you have at the table, I want your parents, your caregivers, your guardians, your grandparents, and especially you to have the tools that you need to succeed. And so that's what today is about. We're going to hear from an amazing group of panelists to help you get equipped, to help you be firmly rooted and established with what you need to do to prepare going into this year with tracking, with monitoring, with the call of action that comes out of this room out to the community. I hope that this group here, that I will truly see you out into the community as the change agents that you are, that you'll be leading and activating circles, support circles for you, workshops, that we'll be doing things with parents and guardians to help them know what their role is and how they can monitor so that we're not depending on counselors, so that we're not depending on people who truly have not completely shown up to make sure that you've been guided or the siblings that went ahead of you were guided. It makes no sense to hear stories that I heard from Dr. Cole, and I'm sure he'll share that on his own, but getting through 4 tough years and having seemingly a great GPA and realizing that you do not need eligibility to have the college choice and the career path that you hope to pursue. And so just know that we're here for you. We love you. We're going to support you. We're going to inspire you. We believe in you, and we absolutely want the best for you, and we will go fight to make sure it gets done. And so relax, settle in, get your pen and paper out, take note, connect with the leaders up here. We're going to be speaking to you. Establish mentor relationships. We know that as your age is going to create more opportunities for internships and mentorships and life skill development and programs and policies and partnerships that will come alongside this village of support, private and public partnerships, and that's what we're here for. But we will deliver for you with you at the table, leading and driving out. Thank you for your support.
Oh, that's open is free. We need to give an opening. Come here, an opening. Thank you. Okay. We have this thing. Just be worried about it. This is a close family type situation. My name is from Oakland. I grew up here. I wasn't born here, but I did grow up here. And I run an organization called Energy Converters that works directly with young people like you. We pay you, and you do research. And you are the leaders in that research. And some of the research that I've done with Energy Converters and those young people led to a lot of work around A2G. Raise your hand if you know what A2G is. And this is why we're doing it, right? Because it's something that's super important to you all. I'm going to introduce our panel, but I'm going to tell you what A2G is first and why it's important. Is that okay? Before I do that, I want to establish some things. You all are the most important people in this room. You all. All these people are here for you, our young people. And you go to a really good school where you might not need to know every single detail of A2G, but I guarantee you that there are people in your friend group, people in your neighborhood that also don't know about this stuff. So we're not just giving you this information or talking at you just to check off a box. We're equipping you with information so you can be leaders in your community. Now raise your hand if you want to be a leader in your community. No, I need more than this. We don't play these games. I flew across the country here. I need to see more hands up. Let me see if you want to be a leader in your community. I grew up on 54th and Gasfield. It was all black when I lived there. I just went back there yesterday to go visit some people. That neighborhood ain't the same no more. If you will grow up and take control of this city and make sure this city has the things that you need to have in it, then you need to be the leaders of your community. So when I say this one last time, raise your hand if you're going to be a leader in your community. I'm going to turn around. I swear to God, when I turn back around, I'm going to see every hand. Who is a leader in a community? Oh, I love this. I love this. All right. So let me tell you what A2G is. So everybody knows about graduation rates, and everybody knows about GPA. A2G is the sequence of classes that you have to take in order to be eligible for the nation's largest public university system, which is the UC system and the CSU system. Raise your hand if you've heard of UC or CSU. Cool. We made a promise to you in California that if you fit a certain criteria, if you are qualified, in one of those systems, there's a place for you and in our community colleges. But for the university system, which other schools use as well, we use A2G. So you might see, oh, X amount of people graduated in this rate and that rate. But when you ask how many of those folks graduated A2G eligible, it's not always the same. So over the years, I just want you all to know this, yo. In 2017-18, there were 248 black seniors across this city. And only 45% of them graduated having met A2G requirements. It went up a little bit the next year, 2018-19, to 200, and there were 264 black seniors, 48% of them graduated having met A2G. And let's look at our brown population. There were 686 brown students, and I know brown in 4 minutes, okay. There were 686 brown students, only 66% of them graduated having met A2G. We just had COVID, and these are the first numbers since COVID happened. These numbers, we don't want to see students with disabilities at 36% or 54%. That means only 54% of those students were eligible to finish the application for CSU and UC. Now, did you see how many hands didn't go when I asked if you knew what A2G was? I'm going to introduce our panel, but I'm going to tell you this quick story about why this is important to me. I graduated in 2001, all right? And I had a brother and a best friend. I don't think every high, he went to Mac. And I come from a military family. In between 2001 2002, does anybody know what life-changing event that reshaped the world happened? Yell it out. Something failed. What failed? The towers failed. So my brother would be up on Cal State Hayward, which is now East Bay, campus with me, and he got his grades up. He graduated with over a 3.0. He was supposed to be promised a spot at Cal State Hayward just like I was. And he couldn't finish the application because he didn't have A2G completed. So he had over a 3.0 GPA, but he wasn't eligible when he should have been promised a spot. And so that next year, so he went up on the street, he went to the Army. He ended up doing 2 tours in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. In the middle of it, like bang, right? I'm saying that he's fine now, he's great, his kids are still in school in Oakland and all that good stuff, and I love that dude. The point that I'm making is that That was 2001 and 2. You understand? That's 20 years ago. So, I'm going to introduce our panel. All of these adults are up here, one, because they love you. This is the job they chose. All these are very, very smart people with a lot of degrees. And I promise you, they could have all went to this job and made more money. So they're not here for money. They are here because they love their community. And 2, regardless of what system they work in, they love all of our Oakland children the same. I promise you, don't listen to the news. Most of us know each other. I just want to let you know, whether somebody leaves school in charter, or private, or traditional, whatever, I promise you, we all know each other and we work together. So we're not going to deal in politics. We're talking about our young people. We're talking about youth. So pay attention. If you don't understand something, jot it down, because you will be able to ask these folks. And then we have a student panel that will come and recap everything. So I don't have a phone with it, but I thought it was important. Y'all ready? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm gonna let our esteemed panel, microphone time. I'm gonna let our esteemed panel introduce themselves. Can we start over here?
All right. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Dolores Thompson. I see so many winners in this room. I'm so happy to be here. I'm from Oakland School for the Arts, and I'm the pathway coordinator. I'm also a broadcast instructor, and I'm also on 102.9 KDLX as a radio personality, and I'm on an ongoing television show on TV1 called Unsung. And just like you said, I could be a lot of different places, but I want to be here. I want to show up for you, because I want you to be the generation that comes and takes the mic from me and do what I do and do it better.
Wow, Dr. Thompson. Now I know where I recognize your voice from. Good afternoon, everyone. We want to start it. My name is Vanessa Cifuentes. I am the High School Network Superintendent for Oakland Unified. That's a big title, but basically that means that I work with all of our high school principals in Oakland, and I support them and their teams along with the rest of our team to ensure that we have the best possible schools that we can for our young people. And I actually I started my career in Oakland 20 years ago, so I was not born in Oakland, but Oakland is my home and my heart, and I'm really happy to be here with you all today.
What's up, everyone? My name is Ali Khan Bulani. A lot of students just call me Bulani. I'm sitting next to my boss, Ms. Cifuentes. I am a principal of Oakland Unified at a school called Life Academy. Shout out to the biohazards. Very excited. I'm here. I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, born in a little town called Hayward, California, the Stack. I've been here as an educator since I could become an educator. What's interesting about being an educator, you started for one set of reasons. I really wanted to be involved in my community, doing the right thing. I stayed an educator because I'm just constantly inspired by young people and what they bring to this world, their energy, their ideas, their visions for the world. Just like someone on this panel just said, y'all need to do better than us. And so I'm invested in that project. So I'm really happy to be here today to see you young people.
Hello, my name is Matthew Gordon. I'm the college coordinator at Ames College Prep. It's around Lake Merritt, downtown area. I was born and raised in North Carolina. I moved to Oakland in 2010. And yes, thanks for the reminder about the options, career options, and all the more lucrative career options. But yes, like everyone else said, it's the students. My 3 students right here, the students are amazing in Oakland. I've done a lot of basketball work, refereeing, coaching, education. Young people in Oakland are amazing, and that's exactly what keeps me in the educational field is serving Oakland youth for sure.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Janine Banks Robinson. I am the principal here for Lions Community Charter School for middle school and high school. I just want to say thank you. Thanks for allowing us to host everyone here today. And I want to say that I grew up in South Central Los Angeles in a community that looks exactly like Oakland, and I stay because I truly agree with our panelists that I want our students to have more opportunities than we had growing up. And just because I have parents who are educated doesn't mean that the other students around me shouldn't have those same opportunities, which is why I'm really passionate about talking about the community performance today.
Awesome. Give it up for your panelists, people. So, I'm going to dive into this first question. all of you, so we don't get, it's not like one panel where every single question, everybody got an answer. If you feel strongly about it or if it's your area of expertise, knock that out, talk directly to the young people. And if I cut you off, it's out of love, and it's only so we can get the young people up here for a little longer than you all are up here. But as I go into this first question, what are we doing to make students more aware? I just want to bring your attention. This is Latino, brown, Hispanic, whatever. People like different names, and like so. I just want to identify that. Here are what these numbers were around who was A-G eligible. This is not up to put schools in competition. This is not up to make one school look better than another school. What it is just a simple fact, okay? And if you look, so your school, Lighthouse, had a 92% A-G completion rate of 54 brown students or whatnot, right? And then if you come down here and you see some of these numbers get really low, first off, Russell and Bunch, those are continuation. They're built for a different purpose than having young people complete the A-G, but above that, you can kind of see N represents, one of my good sports was that, who knows what the N represents on this map? That, boom, say it loud. Sample size, that means how many actually were there. So that's the number for brown students, and if it got to a green, that means it was above 75%, all right? You see it's a lot that's not above 75%. And if you go to black students, it's even less that are green, right? So when we look at this, we are graduating a lot more young people. We are making sure a lot more young people get through high school. But if we're saying that we want to make sure they're ready for college and career, there's some room, some work that we have to do. But these people up here are working very hard. So I just want to throw this first question, and don't you all be too eager, I'll run the mic to you. But what are you doing to make sure that more students are aware of AUG and ultimately meet the requirements? And as you answer, remember how many of these young people did not raise their hand around even knowing what one of the most important stats in their high school career is. So who wants to take a shot at this first? What are you doing to actually prepare young people for this?
So one of the things we're doing is we're implementing career, college, and counseling in our advisory. We have advisories once a week, and one of the things I looked at is how can we get the most face time with students to talk to them about A1G, to talk to them about the requirements that they need to go to whatever college they choose. And the advisory was the one place that we decided to do that, and we're just implementing that this year. So we're doing it starting from 6th grade all the way through 12th. That's what we're doing.
Within Oakland Unified, we've actually spent a number of years building out what we're calling future centers in partnership with the Oakland Promise, which are essentially college and career information centers for students and families. We are working to ensure that every high school has a space where students can receive that information, but also not just expecting that families and students are going to come to us. We're also working diligently, and every school has a different team of people who reach out to students and families to bring that information to them. Network-wide, we're also piloting a couple of different strategies this year where we are explicitly reaching out to families to talk about A to G, what it means, why it's important, not just at individual schools, but across the entire high school network.
My short answer is not enough. I was just talking to these two wonderful young people who you heard from in a moment. I asked them, how do you know about A-G? And what was really interesting is that the way that they learned about it is through opportunities, right? So raise your hand if you've heard of Summer Search. We got some summer searchers, okay. Those types of organizations provide college support, right? So I'm thinking about how we hook up our high schoolers with other organizations, the East State College Consortium, right? That's a huge partnership for us. So I know that we're getting into our young people when they get into high school. Lifetime is a 6 through 12. So when you asked that question, Dr. Cole, my first thing was, do my 6th graders know what that means? And do they need to know what it means? And if they know it sooner, will it have an impact on how they carry themselves through 6th through 8th grade. I would ask that to you all. If you knew that when you were in the 6th grade, would it change things for you a little bit? Yeah, so that's inspiration to me. So the short answer is we got work to do.
My short answer is at Ames, we kind of cheat a little, and we don't call AAG requirements. They are requirements to graduate from our high school. So in order to graduate from our high school, you have to meet AAG requirements.
Similar to Ames, our graduation requirements are the entry requirements, so that we eliminate that choice factor. But what I will say is our students learn about, as far as our One World program that we adopted almost 4 years ago, that my college career team brought to us. And in the One World program, they start in the 9th grade, learning about entry requirements and why it matters. Then we also have implemented a college and career course, so we take that, in the 12th grade. So they're explicitly learning about college and career options and how you qualify. One big move that we made last year is that we actually transitioned from a 9-12 to a 6-12, similar to another school, so that we can start earlier and start talking about entry more and really getting our students understanding what's important.
Beautiful. So, some takeaways for you all, right? Some schools embedded in their actual requirements. So, a school like this, on some level, it makes sense that you all don't know that terminology because of how your school is trying to envelope it into everything that you do. But you're going to get this information because everybody will go to a school that's like that. And some of you go to a much smaller school in a smaller community where those things are a little bit easier. So now I'm going to ask somebody something that is in charge of a much larger system that can feel a little bit more unwieldy, but I know this woman personally, I know how serious she takes this, and I know that there's some policy changes and just some larger work that they've been working on. So I'm going to go this question to you first, Ms. Vanessa, and just around, what challenges were just most present for you as you seek to get more students A through G ready? And you all, as she's answering this, understand she's not in charge of, some of these ends were like 50 kids. Some of these ends were like 70 young people. Her end is a lot larger, right? It's the entire city. So from that perspective, what challenges are most present for you as you're seeking to, change this stuff system-wide?
The first thing that comes to mind is scaling and ensuring that structures and policies that work in a much smaller system or a smaller school, for instance, at a school such as Life Academy, getting those policies adopted across an entire district, which requires board engagement, community students and parents and teachers. In order to replicate some of these strategies that I myself implemented as a teacher and as a principal in much smaller settings, getting that across our entire system is a challenge. It's not insurmountable, but it does take time. One of the reflections I've had over the last couple of months, and really over the last year, has been trying to do work in Oakland Unified to make grading practices more equitable, is that it takes a lot of conversations. It takes a lot of talking to teachers, because at the end of the day, our teachers are the ones who are in front of young people every day. They're the ones who grade your work. They're the ones who tell us if you have learned all the things that you need to learn, right? And getting everyone on the same page. While we all believe in you and love you and really believe in your potential, everybody is going about it slightly differently. And it takes longer, it takes more energy, it takes more people to first get on the same page, to agree this is what we're doing and why, and then start implementing it in smaller chunks. We are seeing some positives along those lines, however. We are seeing individual pathways at larger schools like Oakland High, Oakland Tech, the 9th grade teams at schools like Castlemont, Fremont. They're piloting a lot of these same strategies, and piloting is, I guess, just this fancy word for trying out, right? They're trying out all these different strategies that we know work to get people on board to see, yes, this makes a difference in our young people, right? In their outcomes. So scaling definitely feels like a challenge, but not impossible. and really getting stakeholders to understand what we are trying to do and why. I don't think families are on board. They want us to do right by their kids. And so I think the next layer of stakeholder engagement that we are working towards is really engaging our teachers and our teachers union to get them to really understand and buy into this work around changing grading policies, not grading on things like just attendance or behavior, right? Like we want you to be graded on you demonstrating that you learned what you need to learn. So it's, I liken it a little bit to turning around a submarine. It may not feel like it's changing, but it is moving. And it just takes time. And for many of us, we feel this sense of urgency and we can't move fast enough. But the reality of trying to shift a system across an entire city is that it takes time. But that doesn't mean we don't turn up the heat and continue to hold ourselves and you all holding us accountable to shifting those practices. Because it can't just come from the system, it has to come from you all as our students and your families who only want the best for you as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we know that that's a lot for you to have. And I know some of you are, you lead your own community, your own school community, whether you're a school leader, you're in the counseling office, or whatever variation of that. What are some things that you all have been, like what are some of those challenges that have been most present for you? And how did y'all help get those students ready? And I'll put up your numbers while you all answer too. So yeah, and if y'all can answer that, like a minute or less, that would be great. And say your school when you're talking, so we can put it out.
So I'm at my house again. So what you first want to look for African American students, unfortunately, our numbers are so low that they actually are not listed here. So our sample size for this unit was, we had less than 10 students just attend our graduating class, but we had 90%. So 9 out of 10 actually were APG, but our numbers are so low. That's why we're not on here. For our Latin American students, you can see that we're at 92%. Our numbers represent, what was hard is coming out of COVID. We had a lot of students that were just really disengaged from COVID, and so it took a lot coming back from COVID to get them re-engaged, which is why you see our numbers not close to 100%, but it's also renorming. We really lost about, 3 years of what we would normally done with students in person and trying to do that online. What's that part of your question?
No, it's just basically how are you helping your student community stay on top of this? Yeah.
So really stay on top of it is working with our crew leaders, that's our advisory, and they are our managers to talk to our parents directly. So they're talking about APG requirements in our student-led conferences, they're talking about why this matters and why it matters to stay on track, because we know students are less likely to graduate high school and also in college if they get off the track.
Gotcha. Beautiful.
Well, I'll say one obstacle has been
School community, so they can look at it.
Ames College Prep, which is listed as American Indian Public High up there. I'd say, one obstacle has just been teacher shortage brought on by, I think, just, low pay. So a lot of people are leaving the workforce, creating a domino effect, and that puts a lot of pressure on our school to fill the gap. And I think that's where we've been hurting a little bit, and that's where our counseling office, our college advisory department, becomes more like a therapy office, where we're just positive reinforcement, working with students one-on-one who are failing courses, and helping as best as we can, giving them resources, giving them pep talks, bringing them food or drink, whatever it is to make their day a little bit more positive, to help them refocus on the task at hand. And yeah.
Okay.
Like Academy, I think our number is somewhere around 98% for Latino students last 2021, that's right.
For 2021, you had, your end was 42 for Latino students and then 98%.
Right. And I think a lot of that comes from, the COVID was a little strange. It was very strange. And so I think coming out of that, a lot of the work actually shows up when young people or a little bit younger. So the 9th and 10th grade, as Nevaeh and Caitlin can attest to, you take 2 science classes, you take 2 math classes. We actually stack that at the top of your high school career so that you have more chances. I like to call them at-bats. You know, when you're at baseball, you get at-bat. More at-bats to make sure that if you, let's say, you don't have success in your freshman year, you have a little bit of a landing space to make sure that you can make it happen by your senior year. So we try to just create as many opportunities through scheduling, through offering certain classes to make our program basically push you into A through G completion. So that's one major way. The other thing is I couldn't answer this question without bringing in our amazing school counselor into the space, affectionately known as Mr. Paul B. He's very bold. But Mr. Rodrigo Sandoval, who is a graduate of Life Academy. He graduated from Life Academy himself, and his passion, his mission, his drive is actually to ensure that kids experience what he did, which is, you know, a full scholarship to UC Berkeley. And so I think that motivation of that heart is also a part of our community.
Got it.
Open school for the arts, where are we?
We're down there, right in 17.
For Brown, you're the S1364, and UG for Black.
So we didn't even make a choice there. Okay, so when she talked about piloting, I'm the queen of pilots. A couple of things that we implemented is our young male achievement courses. We're big on putting together courses to see if it works to gain the engagement, so students can get that knowledge that they might not get in the regular classroom. So our young male achievement course is one of those courses. And then we did a pilot where we brought kids into a class and allowed them to write curriculum and teach that curriculum. Because if you're teaching and you're owning, then you're going to understand this a little bit more. So we were able to do that with one student that led a full semester, which I didn't expect, but accepted into Princeton because he understood from the inside out how it works. So that's one of the things that I like to do. I like to pilot certain situations to fit the student. Because sometimes the education doesn't necessarily fit where you're at. And I was one of those students that you really had to rein in because I wasn't listening, I wasn't paying attention to any of those things. But luckily, I had teachers, especially my high school counselor at Oakland High, who was willing to craft things around what I was engaging in. And that's what kept me on track. So that's what I do. I pilot classes, I pilot situations to see how kids flourish in that. And so we've been doing that and we'll continue to do that. And when we get it working, that's when I write up an A through G plan and send it and get it approved, A through G approved.
Awesome. So here's some takeaways for you. So some of these leaders said we stack classes and we set the play up and you're benefiting in 9th and 10th grade. How many 9th graders I got here right now? So 9th, how many 10th graders? Okay. So for the 9th and the 10th graders, how you start is really, really important. They got one more question. Here's a trick question for you all. You just don't answer with a show of hands. Is a D passing? Is a grade of D passing? So hands up mean yes, hands down mean no. So everybody here saying that a D is not passing. Okay, so everybody's wrong. But let me tell you why it's important. A D is passing as far as high school is concerned. It is not, you do not get A through G credit for a D. So we need to treat it as if it's not passing. But as of now, there's a discrepancy, right? You can pass with a D, but you can't move forward as far as A through G is concerned. How many of you know right now if you're on track for A through G eligibility? And some of y'all are younger than that. So yes, that's a good answer. So as I go to the last question, Energy Converters interviewed more than 550 students. Only half of them knew what A through G was. Less than that, maybe about 30% knew whether they were A through G eligible and how to get help, and even less of those parents were aware of it. So my final question for each of you is, we talked about things that you all are doing and how the system is moving and how things are stacked up, but we're about agency. Agency means your power. It means what you can do as a student, what your parent can do. How can these young people and their families hold each of you accountable to make sure that they, one, know what APG is, and two, know if they're on track. If they do fall off track, know how to get back on. And you all can go on whatever order. Now, y'all listen up, because this is now what you can do. And listen, I'm not doing a conversation around fear. It wasn't fair that I had to know this stuff either, right? We deal with facts, because we got kids over here. If this school had 168 Brown students, only 45% of them were eligible to finish the application. What type of life are we setting up with them in Oakland? And Oakland is expensive. It's one of the most expensive places in the world to live. You understand? So you listen up to this question, because now this is where you can put these eyes not just in your favor, but in your friend's favor.
I'll answer first. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Get in people's faces. Don't be ashamed. Understand that this is your future and your journey. Take control of it and let them know that you want a better situation for yourself. Let them know that you want to be in control of your pathway. And I guarantee you people will be willing to work. Sometimes people feed off of the energy you bring. And if you bring, like one of my students here, she brings this energy that I'm like, I'm going to create a whole magazine around this energy. And we are. So bring that energy and let them know, hey, this is my future, I'm invested in my future. I'm going to be the person that takes over when you go sit down. So I need to know all that you know and more. Don't be afraid of that. That's a power within you. Use it. Push it forward. Make people see you. Make them see you. And make them invest in you by using your mouth. Advocate for yourself.
There you go.
Every year, beginning the school year, you get a class schedule. Most schools like ours, the computer spits it out and they hand it to you. Every year, the first day of school, first week of school, take your class schedule, go to the counselor's office or the main office, or whatever your school calls it, show them your schedule, say, does this keep me A to G compliant? Will this set me up to complete my A to G requirements by senior year, by next, whatever year it is? Start in ninth grade, and like we just said, don't be shy, be your own advocate. When you go in the real world, you're your own advocate. You're the only person cheering on yourself, so to speak. So push the people around you, double check. Every once in a blue moon, I'll see a schedule, I'll see a transcript, and I'll see a student took biology 10th grade and biology 11th grade, and they never said anything. Don't sit quietly. Take a hold of your own future, your own president, and push those around you, including your school staff members.
I was at the my students, we have parent conferences coming up in 1 week. You should be asking, just having a transcript there. You should be asking, the classes I'm taking are passing, actually getting me closer to the APG compliant, and what colleges do I qualify for? Those are the questions you should be asking my teachers, you should be asking me that, and if they're not answering you, that's a problem. And you should come talk to me. Because there's no one on this campus that shouldn't be able to explain to you why you're taking the classes that you're taking, and what is it doing to help you to choose a college of your choice. It's not about you getting in, because you'll get in. We want you to have the choice of what college you want to go to.
I only want to add, I want to co-sign what everybody's already said in terms of advocating for yourself. I only want to add, and this comes from the place of the community I grew up in. I grew up in a Muslim community here in the Bay Area. And a lot of folks in my community are immigrants, right? We came from all over the world, Pakistan, my family, a lot of folks from East Africa, a lot of folks from India, different parts of the world. And one thing we did for each other is we helped each other. When we had a clue on a place that would offer cheap rent, we would tell the community, right, in an effort to support one another. So the only thing I would add is, as young people of color, we actually have to hold each other. I'm going to take a guess. A lot of people in this room right now are here because maybe you kind of know about this a little bit, or you want to learn more. My challenge, akin to what Dr. Cole said earlier, is you got to take this forward. Go back to school today, go to school tomorrow, be like, do you know what APG is? It could be that simple, and it could be that life-changing. So I think the push is, let's worry about ourselves, advocate for ourselves, but let's also hold each other. Got me?
And Vanessa, as you closing us out, you can speak to students as well, but I know that you're like a little higher in the district, and we talked about how to engage parents, so for ways in which parents were engaged. At Energy Converters, we call our students education translators. That's what I was. It's akin to somebody. How many of you all have multiple languages spoken in your house? So I started my career as a social worker, and I would go to some homes, and the parents, they only spoke Spanish, but the child, as young as 5 or 6, spoke English. So we would give that child information, and they translated it to their parents. Well, I had to be at an education. Neither of my parents went to college. My parents had a different upbringing, so I had to take what I learned in education, and I had to translate that to my parents, because their parents' voice is actually really important. So I'll go to see you. You can address the students as well, but how would you want them to gear their parents up to be able to engage with you or the system level?
Lots of thoughts, so I'll try to keep it brief.
I got you.
So students, I think a very straightforward question that you can ask anyone that works with you, anyone who works at your school, your teachers, your principal, your counselors, ask them, how is what I'm learning preparing me for life after high school? Why does this matter? Why am I learning this? And I say very intentionally for life after high school, because I know that A to G prepares us to go to college, and it gives us lots of opportunities. And you may choose a different path, but our number one obligation is to prepare you to have that choice, regardless of the school system, whether it's Oakland Unified or the charter schools. We are responsible for preparing you so that you can make whatever choice you want to make. If you want to start your own business, if you want to go to a 2-year and then transfer, if you want to go straight to a 4-year university, but then you have those options. But the key question to ask every day, like I challenge you to ask this question tomorrow. How is what we're learning preparing me for what I want to do after I graduate? That's a very straightforward question that your teacher should be able to answer for you, or anyone in your building. For parents, what you said about being a translator, Dr. Cole, really speaks to me because I was that kid. My parents came here from Mexico. I'm first generation in this country. My mom had a 6th grade education, and my dad even less. And when they came here, they were very deferential. Whatever the maestra said, that was it. You don't question the teacher. You don't do anything that the teacher doesn't tell you to do, because that's how things were in Mexico, in our country, right? So, I think when our families come here, it's a new system. We don't know how to navigate it. We don't know what questions to ask. But I actually think, and I really appreciate when parents get upset, because that means they're paying attention and they're not just going to go with what we say because we think we're the experts. We're not. Your parents are your first teachers. So, I don't know, I see some folks in the room who are parents, who look like parents, but they still look really young. But I see some folks in here, and I would just tell you, both as a parent now and as an educator, don't be afraid. Don't be demanding. Be angry. Just don't just assume that what your school is telling you is the right thing.
Love it.
You have that power, and I don't know, people can get upset, but that's your job. That's our job as parents.
Thank you. And we're about to transition, and we're about to bring our students up. But here's what I need y'all to do when we bring our students up. Y'all can stay or move. It's up to you all. One, I need James here to come help people. The young people, you're going to be on this stage. There's a step over there. Use a step. Let them help you. Don't question face. All right, don't try to be cute. We're going to make sure you're good. Come on up here. 2, what I need y'all to do for everybody else, when these students come up to speak in front of y'all, these young people, these young leaders, just like you, I need y'all to clap for them like their names is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. You understand? I need you to clap like they Serena and just finished the greatest tennis career of all time. Can you do that? Can you lift up your fellow students? Can y'all show some open love to your fellow students? Can y'all make them proud to be, can we be one open family today? Well, damn it, I'm about to bring them up, okay? In 3, 2, and I'm gonna count down. I better hear it, I'm telling you. All right, so when I get down to the countdown, okay. 3, 2, 1. Everybody, welcome our student panel. Go to that muscular brother right there with the polo shirt. We see the muscular brother. I see it. Yeah, actually, you probably do need some of these seats. It's okay, the overflow can come down here. It can come down here, it's fine. All right. Oh, is it just you? You the one overflow? You want to? Oh, no, okay. All right. How about this? Can we center y'all a little bit? So, because y'all gonna be on camera, man. So, you stay where you are. You two, can y'all come over right here? Clap it up for our students one more time, guys. Okay, so there's a lot of y'all. There's a lot of people on the panel, so I know y'all might catch the spirit, but I want to just have a conversation. So everybody don't have to talk on this person, but let me get 3 or 4 of you to quickly just tell me, you know, what stood out from what they just said to you. Raise your hand and then you go ahead and I'll give it to you all as well. So what stood out to what these adults that came here specifically for you all, and as y'all as the leaders of this work, you know what I'm saying? Like, what stood out for you? You can't put it up.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
And yes, introduce, ask me, answer, please introduce, you know what? The sister has corrected me. I just want to, let me do this right. Before y'all answer any questions, I am going to have you introduce yourself. I'm going to have you say, great, what school you go to. Let's just get everybody introduced first. Thank you for getting me right.
Okay. Hi, my name is Messiah Heidi. I'm a senior at Oakland School of the Arts.
Cool, let's pass it down.
Hello everybody, my name is Essen, and I'm a senior and I go to Ames College for Life.
Hello, my name is Yansen Wong and I'm a senior at Ames College for Life.
Hi guys, my name is Kubadi, nobody Garnet, but everyone calls me Kubadi or Body for short. I'm a senior and I go to Ames College for Life.
Hello, my name is Nevaeh. I am the 11th grader at Rice Academy.
Hello, my name is Ramon and I'm a 12th grader at Lighthouse.
Hi, my name is Maya Diaz, and I'm a junior and going to the Lighthouse. My name is David, Virginia.
Awesome. Now, I'm going to re-ask that question. I'm going to ask another one first. Y'all talk with your hands real quick. How many of you are familiar with A through G? Raise them high. How many of you know if you're on track for A through G? Okay. And have any of you had to advocate for yourself around A through G? Raise your hands high for who has to advocate, because I might come back to you on that. Okay, great. So, a lot of people here did not know what that was. A lot of young people don't know what that is. So you have these adults, and I just want to give a moment for you all to, you know, recognize what they said to you and let me know, was that effective? Like, what stood out for you? It's okay if it wasn't. Don't lie. You're like, no, I need some different information. But if it was, if something did stick out, let me know and raise your hand if you want to say so I can get you a mic and y'all got a mic up there. So who wants to take a crack first? Go ahead, brother. Hey.
Okay, just for the record, can you repeat the question one more time?
Absolutely. I wanted to know, these adults just came up that's doing incredible work at these various schools, but they wanted to really talk to you all to make sure y'all have an understanding. So did anything they say stand out for you?
I think the biggest thing that stood out for me was the fact that you have a bunch of adults here that actually care about you. And so I guess when you're a student, you don't really hear that you have teachers telling you what to do and what not to do, you know, a bunch of rules that you don't expect that they actually care about where you're going in life, you know. So it's really interesting, it's really new to have adults here that are actually at least seeing it. And it seems like you guys are on track to like really caring about us and really, you know, up these numbers. So yeah, I think absolutely care is very important.
I'd like to also ask what Mr. Bear said. I like how these people are implementing new ways to get the A3 requirements up in certain schools and different campuses around Oakland or at this individual campus, because I don't want more people like you, like your brother, cousin?
My brother.
Your brother, not being able to go to the college of their choice because they didn't know that they needed the AG requirements to make it where they wanted to go. So I like how there's people, like adults that actually are having an impact in their community to get students places where they want to go through the AG requirements. So, thank you.
Absolutely. Who else wants to tackle this one?
One thing that stood out to me was that it's really nice to see that there are people advocating for some real change in our current educational system. As students, we may not hear about people pushing for change for what we currently feel like is, a system that will go on even long after we're gone. But in reality, it's an often changing system, and it's really nice to see that there are people looking to, improve it.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to tackle this one? I'm gonna get all y'all on rap. I just want you to know. Well, let's just stay there, and I'm gonna start with some of the folks that haven't answered yet. But if y'all are feeling it and want to answer, you can too. Okay? So how did you come to know about AUG requirements? How did you come to know what you needed to do in order to get to college? Go ahead.
Okay, so how I found out about it was my freshman year. There was a freshman kind of meeting to greet people in high school, and they talked about it, and they basically explained it like, oh, these are not only your requirements to graduate, but in order to be qualified for CSU and UC systems. But I really came to understand it this year when, as I'm applying to colleges. I got really scared and I was like, oh, there's a thing like A through G, and I asked my counselor about it, and she gave me a whole rundown. So I really learned about it when I took the initiative and I reached out. So reach out.
Okay. Yeah, y'all can clap for them when they say something. Who else wants to tackle that? How you came to know about AUG?
In a similar vein to our previous response, many students at Ames College Prep, our curriculum requires that we meet A through G requirements just for us to graduate. So most of us know about A through G and its existence, but many of us didn't know the very specifics of it, like how many years of science or history we need to graduate and qualify. But at the start of our senior year, Mr. Gordon over here, shout out, he personally went to our college planning class and actually had each of us fill out a form just to see whether or not we qualified for A through G at that moment. And he also helped whichever students were on track to get classes in the senior year to help them catch up if they weren't.
Okay. Y'all coming to this front row right here, you know what I mean? Come to y'all. Let me know how y'all came to know about this and being on top. I want to forget you. Let's do it. And say it, and then answer.
My name is Caitlin. I'm in my freshman year. I'm counselor program from Eligibility. Catherine is one of the freshmen. Most of the freshmen tell us about this opportunity for college prep, which is like a really good program. That's how I learned about the APG requirements. It's like they get you and guide you on your path to college. And it's like state mentors. They get you so much up, they up their hours, and then help you find out about business scholarships and make sure you have meaningful services. My name is Maya, and I feel like I always known about it, but I didn't know what it was. I knew of it, but not everything. And now, a couple days ago, when I heard about this, I learned more about it, and I'm thankful because it will actually help me go to college next year.
Gotcha. My name is Ramon, and when I first really was introduced to AUG and like fully in this class that we were given at Lighthouse, it's called College Universe Seminar that Mr. teaches, and I was really fully educated on AUG from the center to 11th grade, and now we're having basically a round to it more in depth how AUG really helped us in college.
So, let me shout out the class that some of y'all may have taken. So, y'all better make some noise for that. And they represent you. So let me say, so at Energy Converters, we believe in building agency. know what agency means. Don't worry about it, I'm gonna tell you. I got you. We believe that there's 3 pillars to agency. There's 3 pillars to agency, right? We believe in awareness, navigation, and duty. So one, awareness is making you aware of the system. Y'all see these numbers now. You know that APG is a thing. You know that it might be okay to not know all the details if you go to this school, or you go to Life, or you go to Ames. It might be okay. But if you see in schools with 42% and 40, whereas the coin flip, that information is important, it's vital. So we gotta make you aware. 2, navigation. We gotta still help you navigate the system as it is. So Ms. Vanessa talked about what they're working on, but we still gotta get us to a better place, right? You still are responsible for navigating that system. See, a lot of you think because you're not 18, because you're not 17, that the decisions that you make won't have an impact on you. I am telling you, as somebody who went to Hawthorne, Lafayette, Westlake, Emory High School, with friends that went to Mac, Fremont, Castlemont. I am telling you what you don't know, and not knowing how to navigate can hurt you. But now we're gonna go to the last part, which is duty. So, y'all, let's say y'all go to one of these schools that's 100%. Shout out for your school, that's beautiful. How many of y'all got friends that went to a different school and you raise your hand? How? How many of you got friends that you love and care about? How many of you got friends that you want to have the same options and opportunities that you have? And how many of them go to some of these schools where it's 4%, it's 10%? So the duty part is, let me tell you how I did when I played basketball, and we'll be at study hall. We had study hall basketball. And I was going through my transcript, and I would see a teammate, and I would say, hey, bro, like, why don't you sit down? Like, I'm looking at my transcript, because I want to apply to school. You can go D1. Hey, let me teach you how to read your transcript. Let me teach you what APG is. You don't have to wait for an adult to come do it for you. If you got an adult, that's great. So as I go into this question, and as many of you can answer and take whatever time you need on this, how can you all, not them, not those adults, not this system, not this high school that got 100%, how can you be that change agent in your friend group? There you go. Say your name again, sorry. Okay, who you are, bro.
All right, I'm Justin. And I guess I can start off by just giving some basic examples of how I personally am, I guess, an agent of change in my community, I guess. So I'm gonna just start off by saying social media. This world is an ever technologically growing world. You know, that's where we really communicate is through technology, through social media. And so I feel that if you have a large following, if you have a small following, share the information that you know with your friends. For example, I know that a lot of students struggle with procrastination. So on my story, I posted, if anybody needs help with procrastination and needs tips, come to me and I can send you guys a video explaining a bunch of tips, a bunch of methods on how to stop procrastination so you can do well in school. So just do a little bit like that.
Me personally, I'm very involved with student leadership at my school. I was vice president last year, and I'm running for president this year, fingers crossed. But one thing about me is I want to put more emphasis in communication. That means those learning clubs that we have, that means those college preparatory clubs that we have, really show the light on those clubs and urge people to get involved because communication is key. And once you communicate, it's not just email, because me too, I don't want to check on people like that. But when you really put it in their face to where they can't, like, I'm talking to you right now, that's communication. So just put it in the student's face and giving them that opportunity to be indulged.
So at my school, I'm the student body president, and one thing that comes with that role is helping the student environment. People at our school, we want them to feel like they're at home and they're together. And when it comes to that, you need to be able to have certain information. Well, because this is a school first, academics is first. So giving the information that they need about, let's say, ASU requirements or transcripts or just information in general that they're gonna need if they wanna like go to a college of their choice or just pass high school in general. I feel like that's something that we're already starting to increase at our school. Our schools, SGA, SGA stands for Student Government Association. This year we put an initiative increasing like communication, as Spencer was saying, about all topics around the school. And I believe that through information relay and more information retention from students throughout the school populace, we can help students learn more about the school, more about themselves, and more about what they need to know if they want to graduate high school and go to college. So,
But also, don't just reach out to people that are interested in going to college. Reach out to your friends who, might not know what other options might have there for them. So encourage your friends who maybe don't know anything about it. That's
Unlike the internet superstars that are sitting next to me, I don't have a very large following on social media. But what I do as an agent of change is that I always encourage all the friends that I know, so following on Heston's point here, everyone I know in my friend group, I'm always coaching them to try to be academically rigorous, on point, so they can be on track to get into a good college. Within, I tutored body drum count last year, I will get through that. But that's just the point. You don't have to have like 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers on social media in order to be the agent of change that the world needs. All you need to do is tell your friends about it.
I think one thing that I sort of thought of when we were talking is not only with friends, but also with your table mates. You might not talk to them a lot, you might work with them a couple times, but still just sharing the word. My academy is going to go to a very big community. It's based on bringing people together, talking to people, bringing families. So in the end, even if, of course, share with your friends, but also share with your classmates, share with your class, bring it to the table, because some people might not know. And even just helping people out in class. Someone might not know an answer, explain it to them. Help people out.
Why not front row keep looking surprised when I'm asking? Knock that thing on out. Go ahead, brother.
Well, one thing that I think that would be very effective for us is probably someone that like you're comfortable or close to. Like if you hear something from them, maybe it'll like speak to you better, and you find it like probably I don't know about more instantly, but you definitely will listen more because you know that like you trust them and you're close to them and you know like they're a reliable source, and then you know that it's probably not that bad of an option if they can get sick.
I would say one way is like advocating for yourself, and then for others, when you do learn more, you should share it with your friends and loved ones, so they know.
Yeah, and I think too, right behind me, the social media stuff right here. You guys are like listening about this.
Microphone. Close to the mic.
You talked about like participation, and then that reminds me of something that me and Nick started. We're part of something called the Student Advisory Board, where like students of different advisories who come together to just build community and advisories and also set each other up for success or whatever they want to do after high school. And one of them is also just like after high school, it's kind of like procrastination, like working on your memory organization and also time management, because that's a really important thing to like worry about if you're like lost and don't know how to plan out your next day or even like your next week.
Awesome. And this is the last question. So answer the question if you feel that you're not going to, you don't have to answer it. But I'll also, if you feel like there was something you want to say, I'll give you space to do that. But in this last one, I want to know, this is where y'all get to tell adults what to do. This is where you get to turn that thing around. Think about it like how your parents give you chores, like if you got to be your parents' chores, right? Like if you got to be your parents' allowance. You understand? So have fun with this one. But to the adults that's in here, and also think of this too. Again, all of y'all go to schools where your numbers are pretty high, but I just showed you that's not the majority of our district for the most part. That's not the majority of the situation. So what can the adults here and out there do to better support you all? Like, what do you, how, we asked them what you know, how, I can't talk. We already asked them what the community can do, but what do you want them to do to make sure those numbers change? So not just at the school you at, but at your friend's school and all that stuff. Who wants to go first?
So, like I said before, communication is key. And of course, coming from like working with adults, as much as we communicate, you know, don't use your phone in class, as much as we communicate other things, like we pass out that syllabus every year, that should be something that's included. That, and when you have those teacher conferences, when you have those, you know, parent meetups, as much as we want to talk about, you know, good grades, because like you said, even though you can have above 3.0, that does, at some schools, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are A through G eligible. So as much as we push forward other things, we need to put more emphasis on A through G within communication in the schools. Definitely.
From your lips to God's ears. I love it. Keep going.
I believe one person also like communication, but I think adults need to be more mindful about the minds of children, because you guys are children at one point, but as adults, I think you guys kind of forget that children have emotions, you know? There's a lot of things they owe in our lives that we don't like to share. So I believe reaching out to students who seem to be more quiet or who seem to be, I don't know, maybe rebellious or whatnot, typically there's a reason behind it. I feel like nobody wants to be in the unknown. Nobody wants to struggle. Everybody wants to succeed, right? So regardless of how you're behaving, you still need to reach out to them actually more than other students who, you know, participate and whatnot. So reaching out to students who seem like they're not doing too good, essentially.
Absolutely. I hope y'all preparing to clip these audio pieces. Go ahead.
One thing that I see as an area that could be improved is, as you mentioned earlier, if we knew this information back in 6th grade, a lot of things would be different for a lot of us. Just knowing what we need to do in high school allows us to plan out our entire life. We may not have all 4 years completely planned out as we're entering high school, but at least we know, okay, this is the checklist, this is what we need to do. And just knowing that before we enter high school, or just before we enter, it, you know, in the future will be greatly helpful for all those future students in getting a head start on finishing their AAC requirements.
They all literally said what I was gonna say, so I'll just add it on. The whole high school process is really a ripple effect. When you do different things, like, telling people about AAC requirements earlier in life, communicating the information they need to know as whenever you can, wherever you can, that's a domino effect, a ripple effect. There's a bigger impact. More people are influenced. More people can get the knowledge that they need to succeed, and I believe that adults in this room, well, you guys are doing good, I'm not gonna get right now. But, people, adults everywhere, like teachers or people in OUSD or whatnot, we all as a whole need to be able to be that ripple and that domino, and knock down other dominoes to help more people get the information that they need if they want to succeed. So,
Say that one more time.
my name is Ubani.
Sorry. It's all good. So as you go to the next one, I want to translate what you just said to the adults. Your school might be doing great, but a lot of y'all work with people that work in other schools that might not be. So y'all got to be willing to have the tough conversation on behalf of kids with other adults. Are you willing to be uncomfortable on behalf of adults, or is your friendship or things going school is more important? So put it on the line for these kids the way they ask you to.
Yeah, you put it more directly.
I think that everyone also said what I was gonna say. But I think one main point I wanted to bring up is, especially with bringing things to younger kids in like 6th grade, 7th grade, understand that we may be young, but we still want to know what's happening. We still want to know what we need. We still want to know what we need in high school. Because I think one thing I was personally said to me was that at one point somebody said to me that I was too young to know what I wanted to do. I was too young to want to go to college classes. which I think definitely ought to be. So understand that sharing information, especially when young, we may be kids or we may be like too young to know what we want, but I guess still take the chance and still share with us because we don't want to be left in the dust. We don't want to be left in the dark. Sorry.
Well, I guess we have the same idea, but one thing I do want to say is probably change the way that we like try to communicate to the kids. So like if it's very obvious that we're talking to like the kids and it's clear that they like aren't picking it up or aren't understanding, don't try to keep forcing it, but try to like change it in a way that's maybe more clear or easier for them to understand so they can actually like take it and
Yeah.
It's okay. How can the adults and how can we support you?
I would say, well, I really kick her, because I felt that this year. I wanted to get a head start for college courses, and some didn't. Some they let me go in, and some I couldn't because I was a senior. And even like scholarships and everything in college is still young, so and I feel like teachers should let it be like known so we can prep for it when it's ready.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like it's really important to reach out to the students and like inform them of what like opportunities are there for them. Because like a lot of students at their school, they don't know about like dual enrollment classes. They just know about APs.
Dual enrollment.
Yeah.
AP. Let your students know about dual enrollment, AP, all the other opportunities they can catch up on. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm like 3 dual enrollments right now, and it's like really helped me go forward because I get to experience like college life, and then it's also important because the students can like find topics that they want to like pursue, and they can also get a start there.
Absolutely. And I took AP classes. Didn't know there was a test that you're supposed to take after that, right? Didn't know. But it made the school look good when you had so many kids in AP. But I didn't get the benefits outside of GPA, right? So make sure you help these young people navigate. There was have some more early thoughts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like kind of go off what everybody said, create personal relationships with your students.
There you go.
And I will urge that. Please create a personal. It's one thing to be like, oh, you know, grades, all this, all that. But I have, okay, and this is kind of a shout out to Dr. Thompson. When I'm creating a personal relationship with not only admin at my school, but just other adults in general, I have grown so much academically and personally because I've learned the wisdom. So it's one thing to communicate, you know, oh, grades, oh, like, you should do this, and talk to a mass amount of students. But having that one-on-one relationship with students changes. It really does.
Relationships.
So, create personal relationships with your students.
I promise you, they're actually taking what I'm trying to say before I actually say it. I'm not trying to act for it. Okay, anyways. So I would like to add on to what you said, Michaela. Yeah, having personal relationships with teachers, they have experience. And with experience, you get a better understanding of certain things. And I believe that you get a better relationship with certain teachers. They can help open up their worldview about certain topics, a perspective on a certain idea, and just give you like personal insight on whatever you might need. Because I've had a few teachers like this. I think I get again like 1 or 2 teachers per year who I can deeply embedded with, and they told me a lot throughout the school year. Maybe I might not even have their class, but just talking to them about something I might be having trouble with helps so much. And I believe when teachers or parents or anyone goes out of their way to help a student whenever they can, that can change that student's life. So, thank you.
Also, one more thing I'd like to add, it also works both ways, so it works vice versa. So, same way that the students are learning from the teachers are also learning from the students. Because there's a lot of wisdom in young minds that we don't even know, untapped potential. and they might change your life as well. You know, you might enjoy coming to work now if you don't already. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But if you don't, you know, you might. Yeah. So where's my phrase?
He's telling you how to enjoy your job better. Listen to it. Clap it up for him. Anybody in the technique, we're going to move on. But I want to make sure if you might have anything to say, raise your hand right now. I want to be on top, but I'll be late for y'all. So, no, I'm serious. Is there anything else that needs to be said up here? Dr. Thompson, you on standby? You're about to come up and close us out. So, for our students, first off, give these young people a round of applause. They did a phenomenal job. I think it actually behooves staff, whether at the district or charter level, to bring in groups like this, give them information, and then get their raw thoughts, give them the space to do it. The other thing that I want to make sure I say is, if you enjoyed this, if you want to speak like these folks, and even for you all up here, that report was put together by students your age and younger. I run an organization called Energy Converters. Our program manager is here, Marquise. Can you raise your hand? You see that brother in the back? If you want to be a part of that, one, you get paid at least $300. We make sure we have a space for you, and we only do research that you all name, but you learn how to speak, you learn how to present, you learn how to make money in entrepreneurship. Go and see that brother if you want to be a part of that. But I hope that you all felt that this was for you. I know that there was some people that got antsy. I know it's like things are being talked at you, but this is about you. This is about you. This is about very real consequences. The things that you do at 15 can put you on different paths in your life. And not saying that people don't make mistakes and come back around, but it ain't better if you can just start off going the right way. So I thank you all. I honor you all. Y'all were so great. Y'all did such a good job. Again, clap it up for these young people one more time. And I'll help you out, Marquise. Keep an eye out. If anybody's interested in joining, because he's about to put together a new cohort. We have a new report that the last cohort did on continuation schools coming out. We don't know what the answer is going to be because you all pick it. Raise your hand so Marquise can actually see you as well, and you don't miss it. If you want to make at least $300 and do research and lift your voice, raise them high, bro. Act like you want some free money. Okay, Marquise, you see him? Okay, cool. I am going to bring up Dr. Thompson to close us out, and I got us back on time. I'm big on the time thing. So, did I do okay? Was I born? It's okay. You're like, you're born as hell. Okay. Clap it up for Dr. Thompson, y'all.
So what I want to say to you is, I know there's a song called The Greatest Love of All. Some of the lyrics are, I believe that children are our future. That's more than a song to me. That's more than a song to us. We really believe in you. And we are looking to instill in you what you need to be able to run this country. Everybody sees how this country is run right now, right? But you have every opportunity to make a difference in this country, in your community, in your school. And we believe in you. And we want to be able to give you exactly what you need to make that difference. But you got to start believing that it starts with you. You got to start believing in yourself and understand that you are the leaders of tomorrow. Understand that you are the ones that are going to make the world go round. Understand that you are going to be the game changers and the decision makers. Understand that about you, and then come to us and ask us how do we help you create a pathway to who you are going to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for letting us use the facility. A huge shout out to Kimmy King, who is the CEO of Families in Action, for helping put this together. I don't see Kimmy for clapping her. She put a lot of this together, her and her team. Priscilla, Copy, the whole squad, and we are done on time. So, y'all have a good one. Thanks again.